Hello everyone, how are you? I think we are
Great.
back after a long
Good,
time.
good, good. Yeah, good, good.
Happy to be here, as always.
Yeah. So, how has it been? I mean, it's been a very long time. We have been
Yeah, it's
Well,
met
been a
for.
quite a bit of a break between our last
Yeah.
it's
episode and
actually
this one, so
holiday
yeah,
time,
gratitude about it.
and I know you guys have been in like finals and everything, and you're now out of all of that. So I'm sure you guys are happy and
Hmm.
relaxed.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, I've seen that Gemini, Google actually took a very big W with all its model releases now
Mm.
with Gemini models. I think Gemini 3 Pro, Gemini 3, and Gemini 3 Flash. Actually, Flash got released yesterday.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I think I saw it, but I was able to play around with it. But I think I saw the release. Yeah.
Yeah, I was able to use and guys, I think Gemini models now are one of the best models on artificial analysis benchmark now.
I agree, and I've been using it, so kind of I can validate. Like so far it's been very good, very impressive.
I've also seen that the speed of the Flash is, I think, very good. And the thing is that the cost is actually very low compared to the real model. And I think the 2.5 Pro model, which used to be like very state of the art by Google, it's like same amount of level of functionality, but with price that is very low.
Hmm. Oh,
Yeah, I haven't played around a lot with that model or any of the Gemini models, but I've heard a lot about them. Yeah.
yeah. I'm still playing
Let
with
me actually
Gemini.
show you the. Let me show you the, this thing. So the artificial analysis benchmark. Now you can see. Are you guys able to see the screen?
Yep, yep.
Yeah,
Again.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So if we see here right now, Gemini 3 Pro is the best model overall with actually GPT 5.2, which also got released, I think, last week, and then Gemini 3 Flash,
Oh.
and
Hmm.
then Claude Opus 4.5.
Wow. So
And
let me hold
Wow.
on, hold on. You're telling me Flash is even better than like intelligence wise is marking
yeah,
better than God Opus 4.5?
yup. And the speed is incredible.
Woo! Man,
Yeah.
that's something.
And, and Kimi K2 thinking is just after Claude Opus 4.5.
Got you. Oh, okay. All right. So Kimi K2
And
thinking is the first, that's an open source one, obviously.
yes. And this I don't even know about this model, but Mimo V2 Flash is the next one, and then DeepSeek version 3.2. And then
Mm.
comes
Mm.
the Grok. And
Wow.
guys, after that comes 4.5 Sonnet. 4.5 Sonnet, which we used to think is the benchmark,
Mm.
is
Yeah.
now sitting at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, ninth place.
Wow.
It's, it's amazing, though, the way things have been progressing. Wow.
Oh, and I have not seen this. Amazon has its model Nova 2 Pro
Hmm.
in this ranking.
I
I
think
think
it's
this is the
showing
first time I've seen an AWS model here.
exactly, which is like really nice. So 2.0 Pro is right there. Yep,
Oh,
good. We are in the game. That's good. Excellent. And
yeah,
Llama 4 Maverick is at the tail
yeah.
end. Okay.
But like, yeah, and in top 10 models, uh, yeah. So I was just discussing the upset that has happened in this last, I think at least at max just 1 month or 1 or 2 months at max. We are seeing at least three open source models now in the top 10 rankings, guys, and some of them are better than 4.5 and Grok 4.
Yeah. We should look at it holistically, not only intelligence,
Mhm.
right? The price. Let's just look at the price for a second.
Yeah, guys, price is insane. Price is literally
Yeah.
insane. If you see 1 million token output
Uh,
better, intelligence wise, see DeepSeek version 3.2, the price is $0.3
compared to $10 of Claude Opus.
compared to $10 of Claude. Yeah.
Okay, where is Flash here? Google Gemini Flash 1.1.
Also,
Oh,
what
yeah,
about like
1.1.
the what about like the OpenAI models, like the 5.2 and like those models? How did they are they how where are they on
Yeah,
this?
yeah. The
Oh, so
price is
they're like they're
4.8.
so better than Claude, but still not better than like some of the other models like
Yep,
DeepSeek
yep,
and
Uh,
those models.
interesting. Yep, open source the cheapest, closed source
yeah.
models on the right
And
hand side.
the thing is, I've seen the research about the DeepSeek version 3.2 model. What they have done is they have introduced some DSA, which is like they distribute the attention in the tokens. Now, what that has enabled them to do is that they are able to keep the cost consistently low. They are able to identify whenever they want to predict the next token, they can actually go ahead and just rank the tokens that should get the most attention,
Oh,
and with that they are able to keep the cost as low. You know how you have seen that if you go over 1 million context length or 200K context length of the tokens, then the cost of the output tokens increases. That doesn't happen with version 3.2.
oh wow. So what you're telling me, Lavneet, is now attention all you need concept is it's paying attention to every single thing equally. There is no like difference. But these guys somehow figured out a very efficient way to pay attention to what is needed. That's helping with the
Yep,
cost. Is that right?
yep.
Wow. That's a very good research. I mean, we should put a research paper somewhere in the blog, in our notes for people to take a look at it. It's an amazing thing to learn.
Yep. And it's like I'm like amazed at the research that DeepSeek is doing. And it's not just that. They have released two different variations of DeepSeek models. One is DeepSeek version 3.2,
Mm,
and another one is DeepSeek version 3.2 Special.
mm,
What they have done is they have used like how MOE architecture they have these expert agents.
mm,
What they have done is they have used a very big 3.2 2 model or something to train specialized agents to go crazy on compute on one specific task like coding, one specific task of actually writing material
I
and
see.
all those things,
I see.
and used that data, the data that big model generate, to then create this DeepSeek version 3.2.
Okay, what you are describing is the distillation model, the teacher-student
Yeah,
model
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
methodology. That's what they're doing here.
Yep.
I see. I
And
see.
they also created, how in tool usage, we don't have much data, how AI can, actually interact with the tool, what results they get, and then actually go ahead to, see and then fine tune the model on that. They actually created RL environments so that agents can run wild
Hmm.
into those, generate that data, and then train the model. So
Oh, I see.
these techniques are making the DeepSeek version 3.2 that better. I mean, I was not sure if Kimi K2 was that higher up, but I guess they are also doing pretty good open source work.
I mean, they're doing a lot of innovation in optimization area
Yep,
with
yep.
models getting that good.
The only part where let me actually show this. If you see, I'm not sure if here it will come up or not. The amount of tokens they generate is very high.
Mm,
Openness index, output tokens. Yeah. If you see here,
mm.
the amount of tokens it generates is relatively very high to the cost they have.
Oh,
So even if you see it is generating, reasoning token is 91 million, guys.
mm,
Answer token is 8.3 million. And even with that, which is like, if you see the output number of tokens, the lower should be the better for the output.
Mm.
And with even this amount, which is like very normal amount of tokens, very standard, the cost here is just $0.3 to run the overall.
Overall, yeah.
So that gives us a very exciting like time where the amount of tokens. So if they can actually control the amount of tokens they are actually, outputting, the price of the zero point 0.3 can be even lower.
Yeah, that is true. Um, yeah, it depends on your use case scenario and what are you comfortable with. Some people don't
But
like open source.
yeah, yeah. But I think how we have seen that many companies in US have actually started taking these models,
Mhm.
running it themselves under their own architecture, and even fine-tuning these models.
And maybe they give a different name to it,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
but behind
yeah,
the scene they're using this.
yeah, yeah. I
All
think
right.
R1, do you think DeepSeek R1 was also this year?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe so. It
Uh,
feels like it's ages, but it just
I
happened
don't,
this year.
or yeah, or yeah, maybe yeah, but yeah,
So if we think about it now, DeepSeek has given us R1 this year, as well as uh, this new technique of distributed attention, where they have made that the
yeah,
cost
actually,
becomes
yes,
stagnant.
yeah. So DeepSeek R1, January 20th of 2025, so at the beginning of the year.
Yeah. So that is like, I think, one of the best research that they are doing this year has to be from DeepSeek.
Oh,
And this
okay.
is fully open source.
Mm,
So, and guys, the thing is that we were thinking that, I mean, everyone was thinking that 4.5 Sonnet is the benchmark now, right? And now there we have an open source model better than 4.5 that you can fine tune
that is true.
Yeah,
That is true.
with cost as low as zero point 0.3.
Yeah, because
Or, I mean,
fine tuning a cloud model would be a lot more. I don't even
yeah,
know. Is it possible to fine tune a cloud model with the
it is, but you need to do it on
yeah,
their own dashboard and
yep,
everything.
yep.
But yeah,
exactly, and
And
it's
the
very
cost
expensive.
is like
Uh,
through the roof. I don't
and
think no normal organizations can even afford doing that.
yeah, maybe
yeah,
And
yeah,
the cloud strategy has always been going after big enterprises, government organizations, and which may not bother that much about all
pricing,
of these cost concerns. But once you go down the list and you get into the mid-range companies and small developers and things like, no, we just can't afford that, like to do anything like that, right?
so
yep,
yeah,
yep. I mean, I think Claude actually, with its Claude Code, has passed a milestone, which is
Hey,
$1 billion.
I gotta tell you, Cloud Code is like the amazing thing that has happened, man. Like every single time I'm able to get it to the finish line, whatever I wanted to accomplish, it's fairly easy to get it to the finish line now.
it's
Yeah,
got
Right?
that
power
is
tool
true.
for coding, right? So yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And with skills, it's getting even easier. More abstractions
and
added.
I think it's they also introduced something called plugins
Yeah,
from the last time, with which basically creates an agent and also the set of skills needed for that agent to use. Have
it's,
you played around with it, Lovely? The Cloud Code
no, but
plugins?
I've I just saw an update, which is that Claude Code has now started using sub agents. Have you guys seen that?
I saw that.
Uh,
I saw that, but I haven't played with it. But I did see that. But the
Yeah, yeah.
submissions has been there. Did you take a look at that? Let me what that means.
Yeah, I think it was released this month or maybe a month before at Max.
Mhm.
We were able to, I mean, I was also seeing it before that it automatically says that it is running a sub agent to actually do some tasks. Like, if it wants to gather some context, a sub agent goes
So
on,
let me let
gathers
me let
context.
me, let me dumbify this. So somebody asks some question saying, "Go build this for
yeah,
me." Claude will figure out, "Oh, I need XYZ sub agents to do this job," and trigger
yeah,
that in
and
the
the sub
background.
agents have their own context. I think that's the idea of it.
Yep, yep,
That it's not all in one context. It's kind of splitting the work up
So
a bit.
it'll automatically coordinate with the sub agents and then when the sub agent is done, it'll take it up and then bring it back into the main thread. Is that right? Is that how it works?
yep, yep.
Yeah. I think this
And
concept of sub agents, it feels like it's been there in the cloud for some time, right?
yeah, yeah.
Right?
But
Yeah. Mm.
I think they said that they have created some more sub agents, which is like they have defined now that this is for file exploration. There is one sub agent for doing this task, and they have written standardize them more. They have like, I think I'm not sure how they were doing before, but now they have specialized prompts and specialized tools for those sub agents as well.
Guys, this reminds me of things happening in Kiro. I don't know. Have you guys heard of Kiro Powers?
No, but I've
Power, Power.
seen
Okay.
it, but I haven't heard of
Kiro
using
can
it.
be given powers, right? Figma power, this
So
power,
it's
that
essentially
power,
like
right?
the Claude Code
MCP?
plugins, but for like
It's not. No. That's the thing. MCP is part of the power, but there is
so it's
MD
more
files,
so it's
steering
yeah.
files, MCP,
I think
everything
it's
added
more.
as
I
part of
think the
that.
closer thing to it is like one of the Claude Code plugins is a closer alternative
Correct.
to like the powers, where it has like that agent and also some other like skills like those MD file skills that can call on that sort of idea. But in Hero,
So there may be different names now floating around. In Claude, it's called plugin. In Kiro, it's
yeah,
called
yeah.
powers. I can see some correlation between these
I mean,
concepts.
at the under the hood, they're all the same exact thing, but they just call them different, like different marketing terms. That's the only main
But
difference.
I think, guys, the another thing is that this, like, actually, I mean, we all are using Cloud Code. We all are
Yeah,
loving it. And they now, after they pass the $1 billion, mark, they actually announced that they have made, over $1 billion with Cloud Code revenue.
Hmm.
And then they acquired Bun.
What is
yeah. They
Bun?
acquired.
What
I
is
think
Bun?
it's a Java,
Yeah, it's a
like a
JavaScript runtime.
yeah JavaScript
Why
runtime.
is
That's
it
what it
important
is.
for Cloud Code?
So now, you know how Cloud Code is like basically an extension or like a CLI tool or whatever.
Hmm.
What I've understood, I may be wrong, that Bun is used, how you initialize a project with, create React app or something. Bun is used to create a project from scratch, and it is used as a runtime to create some binary files. So instead of having multiple files to, create a project and run that project, you can use Bun, and it will create one single binary to
Hmm.
actually run the whole project. And it is very efficient
It was
in
yeah.
terms of,
The main thing is that it's efficient and it's more efficient than other. That's
yeah,
like this main point.
yeah.
Like, like
And
what kind of project? Okay, guys, and I'm dumbing, I'm going to just find out a little bit more details, right? What type of projects are we talking about here? Like standard web front end project convert to
yeah,
binary, right?
Yeah,
Something like that.
JavaScript. Yeah,
all JavaScript, all
Ah,
the
JavaScript
JavaScript
based
mainly.
projects.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Okay,
That
okay.
that reduces the dependencies, and because Bun can help in creating a single binary file or something to actually run the whole project. Claude Code now wants to own that part because it is a very important dependency for Claude Code.
I see. Where was this bun? I didn't even hear about the word bun till now until they
it's
acquired.
been a
Yeah,
relatively like smart like project and team and everything,
yeah,
but now because of this, obviously people have started linking it. But like I think it's been there for a while.
It's been
yeah.
there
It
for
has
long.
been, yeah, yeah. People who use Next.js and like ChatScene as well
Yeah,
as
this wasn't
all
like
the
something that was
React
created just
applications.
for like AI or anything like that. This is
Yeah,
long before
it's yeah.
all of that. Yeah.
So now the time for marriage is appropriate. That God felt like, or Anthropic felt like.
Because I think they know that it is a very major dependency issue for them. So if they want to, run Cloud Code into more enterprises, and sometimes they have issues of having, different binaries or something. Bun can actually just get one file. You get approval for that one file, and boom, you can go ahead and deploy
One
to anything you want.
deployable, one deployment
Yep, kind
component.
of. That's what I've understood. I may be fully wrong
Okay.
on this,
It sounds
but
like now you guys have
just
worked enough interest in me to figure out the underlying architecture
yeah,
behind what
yeah.
the hell is this.
Yeah, and then
And
the
they
other
say,
thing with the like the plugins that I've seen is Context 7 has their own like plugin in Claude Code in that marketplace where now it can go to any
really?
like anything you can say, oh, go and do
Man,
like this on authentication, then you can like have it go and look up the documentation in Context 7 and use that as like context within like how to do it. And
Oh.
then also you can add different marketplaces. Now there's just like the default one, but there's an option there to add new marketplace if you're within your own company or something like that. If you have like a your own private like marketplace for plugins, you can create it just for that, and then have everybody join on to that.
Hmm.
Yeah, Context 7 has been pretty powerful, right? Generally, the MCPs from
Yeah,
Context 7.
several things have plugins though that are already pre-built into there. There's Stripe, Notion, Context 7, Figma, all of those have it. And so same with like Swift. Even Swift has like a plugin there to for
Really?
Claude Code. Yeah, because now they've already integrated. Like I think they integrated Claude into Xcode already. So that happened a while ago. But I think since that, people have been
Oh.
interested in how that works together. So I think Claude works well with Swift. If I would remember right.
I see.
Hmm.
So it was
Hey,
interesting to see. Yeah.
have any of you played with generative UI yet?
No, no, I've not.
I've
Not
heard
really.
about it.
Yeah,
I
I've
think
heard
the
about it from Claude experiments, but not like
not only
using
about
them.
cloud, I think that is the future of the UI UX and experience, user experience, right?
I have seen some open source projects as well as some companies who have started creating these, saying that these are generative UI, that whenever you want to chat or something. I think we have discussed this, guys,
Correct, correct. We have, and
right?
Strands framework, Strands SDK, right? Has create like recently has a feature for the generative UI kind of development aspects, which I have not honestly
Oh.
explored yet, but that's slowly coming up into these standard frameworks, right? Where every
Hmm.
user has their like there's no more fixed UI anymore. That's the whole point here, right? One UI customized to like millions of people. Lavneet gets a UI. Karthik gets a UI, Arun gets a UI, depending on the context that I'm in, I'm asking questions or whatnot,
And
and the
we've
UI
seen that from
disappears.
like ChatGPT with like the apps a while ago, where they're creating more or less like if you wanted like the
Yeah,
others know that just create the UI
I
for
mean,
that
yeah,
specific
yeah.
part on
And
there.
and these software testers, I saw an interesting video. There's whole gaming development and gaming testers. Testing
Hmm.
games are very hard, guys. Like if you take a standard, let's say you have a bank application, you want to make a payment, right? It's always standard. You go there, you put in the recipient and everything, and you do it. So testing is also easier because it's very deterministic flow. But when it comes to
Oh.
game, right? All of a sudden somebody pops out, and depending on a condition, somebody else pops out. It's very difficult to test a game if you look at it, right? But the same methodologies they use in testing games, they say should be applied in generative UI, because in generative UI you don't know what's going to come up. It's not deterministic. It's a very
Hmm.
interesting angle to the whole thing.
I mean, isn't that basically structured output at the end? Like they want the structured output in a way that they have options to, render that specific UI. Kind of. I'm just assuming.
Correct. There is like a standard for that, which is what they're trying to establish on how to digest that and bring it up.
Yeah.
What you bring it
Yeah,
up
what
is
standards? Yeah,
dynamic. It's completely dynamic, right? So,
Hmm.
okay, I want the zip code from somebody to do something, right? Instead of typing in the chat, it's going to come up with that thing with a map in it and says zip code. It points out here is where you live, and then disappears and then goes away in the chat, right? And then
So
you continue on.
are we thinking that the AI will actually give us the code to, render the
yeah.
result?
I think what will happen is that it'll be in the chat. It'll already kind of like if you go to chatgpt.com or Claude.ai, if you're going to like the front end of it, it'll be already kind of rendered in within the chat itself. It'll show the UI like within that chat itself. But if you're going to like something like Claude, maybe then it might not be that the
But,
same way.
but
But
the key difference, I think, Lavneet and team, is it's not like it's throwing a bunch of code and interpret it in the browser runtime, right? It's more as there is a standard defined. The code will adhere to that like it will generate and put
Yeah, yeah.
standard,
yeah.
and the standard will take care of displaying it in there. If that makes sense.
Okay,
So no,
okay,
it's
okay,
not gonna
okay.
run entirely
Okay.
on like the. Of course, if it did
Yeah,
that, then it
because
would take
I
forever. Yeah.
like that will be like hell for testing and everything
Yeah,
else.
and it is not good too, because you want to give the determinism and
Yeah,
standardization as much as possible. But I
yep,
think that's a great sweet spot to define a standard and have the
mm,
dynamic capability on the fly. It's like great. Nobody
yep,
wants to deal with a chatbot anymore, guys. Right? I mean, how
mm.
long will you go with chatbot fatigue? Have you guys heard
But
about that?
but I have seen that in some report they say even today more than 60% of AI usage is from chatbots.
I know because
because
we don't have
because
anything
all because all non-technical people won't go to like Claude Code or
Yeah,
something just to ask something.
true,
They'll go to like
true,
chatgpt.com,
true.
which is like the far
I
and
mean,
away the best known one.
there are like, guys, there are like, App Store apps which are like very simple, like just an API call to OpenAI or something
Yeah, I know.
to,
There's a lot that like before ChatGPT had a mobile app. I don't know if you guys remember. Before that, there was a lot of apps that tried to kind of intimidate, like in like kind
yeah,
of like do
but
that, but like essentially just call it an API at the end of the day.
now
That was
I've also seen the apps which are like doing very, very one thing that, ChatGPT can do, obviously, but they're focusing on just one thing and just doing that with just, I think, one API call or something, but marketing and the UI experience, the user experience of the whole thing is so much better that that users don't want to use anything else.
and you are hitting it on the nail, Lavneet, on that one, right? Because how would you differentiate when ChatGPT does
Hmm.
everything, right? How would you differentiate your product? The only way is by user experience and providing that ease of use, like innovating there, right? Is the key way to differentiate and going vertical, picking one
Yeah,
and
Yeah,
going
and
vertical.
and
yeah.
also another sort of UI that I've noticed is the have you seen it with all the CLIs, the like what they call is like a TUI or like a terminal user interface is what we've all been looking at for Claude Code and with Gemini. It's been the
Oh,
rise of that too. Because have you noticed if you go to Claude Code, you're not looking at just the code itself. It's giving you some sort of like terminal UI that you're going to, and then
hmm,
there's still like an abstraction before you get to the actual code. So that was
yeah,
also like
Right. It's very interesting the term you just talked about, terminal user interface. That's such a new
hmm,
yeah.
thing I'm hearing, but it is there. This concept is there. And when Claude Code, there are nuances there. When you ask a question, it does a lot of thinking, right? In typical terminal, it will scroll. Remember, it'll scroll everything and then you type in.
yeah,
You can see what. But in Claude Code, when you're in the terminal, you can see it stable and you can see the dynamic things happening, but it's not the whole window is not scrolling. It's a big deal,
yeah,
developer experience, right?
yeah.
You're right
Yeah.
there. And then you're able to see everything, right? Yeah. The only thing, guys, I'm having difficulty with this whole coding with generative AI is this. The thing happens so fast. I'm getting eye fatigue and mental fatigue when I look at the when I look at, I'm like, I'm doing this, I'm doing that stuff. Okay, all right, and then moves to the next. I'm doing this stuff, I'm doing that stuff. I don't know if you guys have a similar problem when trying to track what it is doing. It is so quick, so fast. My
Well,
mental energy gets
yeah.
drained out.
I mean, a little bit biased from this, but like I think, because whenever I use Cloud Code, at least recently with the new like 2.7.33 update or whatever, they said in the release notes I read it and it said we reduced terminal flickering, we reduced all of that. But yesterday when I was trying it, it flickered so much when I was trying to like get it to do something after prompting it. It flickered so much right after doing it that I had to kill the Cloud Code instance and restart it
That is,
from like the top.
that
So
is a
that
problem, Karthik.
yeah,
That I have also experienced
yeah.
the sticker
But
problem.
like as far as the other part, I think for the most part, it doesn't really show me like, oh, I'm doing this. But sometimes it kind of get annoying when it says, oh, do you want me to accept this? Accept this. When you say auto accept, it still asks
I
you,
have
oh, do you want this? Are you sure you want this? Yeah, but a little bit
I've
of
seen
nannying
that
around like the code.
some people have implemented hooks that whenever you reach 45% or 50% of the context,
Mm,
and then people have said that that's the dumb zone. That after that, any AI model or anything,
hold
they
on.
can't,
Think.
yeah, they can't output properly.
Yeah.
So what happens is they create hooks that whenever you reach 45-50%, you automatically create a summary, create a plan, what you have done, create a status bar, an MD file or something, and then you run the compact, create a new
But
chat, and continue from
yeah.
there. That's like,
Practice. That's practice.
yeah,
I just wish there was a way to interact with the developer still more efficiently than this thing that goes on the screen and expecting everybody to kind of
Well,
I
I
mean,
mean, there is also the Cloud Code for web, like the Cloud and the codecs for web, like those web based ones as well that aren't on.
uh,
but
this thing came out also, right? Claude on the web with browser access. I think Karthik, you are talking about that, right?
Yeah, that was mainly for testing, though. I think that's mainly for like, let's say you have like a website or a JavaScript, like something like that, right? Then you want to test it in the browser. For I think all paid plan users, you can add the Claude extension on Chrome, and then it can access your Chrome on your computer when you're using Claude Code.
For
Are you aware of
for
that?
It's
Let
in
for
me,
testing.
beta.
have you
Yeah,
used that?
I have not seen it. Maybe
it's
I've
still in
read a
beta.
blog
It's still
post,
in beta.
but
It's still in beta. Yeah.
but I mean, what I've heard, I mean, from you, what I've heard, I would say, isn't that web dev tools of Chrome basically MCP?
Well,
Because I have used
not
that and it is
yeah.
done for testing.
I haven't tested
Very awesome.
it out, but there might be more
Yeah.
testing and like maybe a little bit more on like the action sort of side of it, probably more
Mm-hmm.
on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't tested it around
But,
yet.
but but I think Lavneet, you're right. The flavor Karthik explains is very similar to the Chrome Dev Tool flavor. Like the
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
the only difference is since Claude itself does that maybe a better integration with the Claude development
Yeah.
environment or
Yeah.
whatnot. That could be the only
With
Yeah.
thing.
Claude
But
Code mainly,
paying
yeah.
that much for that would
I
be
could see
a bit
somebody
too
who's already
much for
using
me.
Claude Code and
Yeah.
already paying for Claude Code. It could be a good feature, but I
Yeah.
wouldn't go to there just for that one feature alone.
Yeah.
It's a kind of
Yeah.
then you would just go to
That
Gemini
would
or
be.
something like that that already has
Yeah.
that for and Gemini for any like Claude Code that's specifically only for the paid plan users alone. I think
Mhm.
Gemini is one you can anybody can access that and get
Hey,
you know.
slightly different topic. An interesting video I was watching somebody, right? Notebook LLM. You guys know Notebook LLM. I told you
Yeah.
guys,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So it generates this podcasting, right, with two people talking. And the
Hmm.
thing is, when you hear that, it's made in Notebook LLM because it's like very obvious. The man and the woman talking and their voice and everything is very good. Somebody took that, split the audios separately, man and the woman audio separately, used 11 labs to bring their dub. It's called there's something called dubbing in 11 labs. You take
Hmm.
this, you dub it
Yeah.
with
I've done
your
that. Yeah.
audio and some random guy audio, whatever. Then they use agent for the front end, their own
I
thing, right?
saw
And
that
they
where it
put
was.
the video, and it is
Yeah.
done in Notebook LLM, right? But it is actually
Mhm.
that guy and somebody else talking with their own voices, and you cannot tell the difference between
That's-
whether that was a really done podcast or not.
Yeah,
Yeah, we are reaching that point, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking
Yeah.
that is a great idea because I don't like to use what Notebook generates and put it on my LinkedIn post or my social media because I don't know. People may think, oh, this guy is lazy. He's just like grabbing something there. I mean, notice people put in LinkedIn Notebook slides and everything. What is the first impression you guys? I'm curious. What is the first impression you guys get
I
when
don't.
somebody posts like
The first impression that I and like many other people would have is like it's not like that. Oh, they were like, oh, they're so cutting edge. They're using like the cutting edge technology for that. The impression is that you're very lazy and you don't
that?
want to take the
Exactly.
time to actually write down like a post and
Exactly.
write down
But
like a well
have you
thought out.
guys, but for slide, have you guys used Gamma?
Hmm.
I haven't heard of it, but I
Played
never
with it. But
used it.
I'm by the way, I'm using Google Gemini 3 now for and Canvas feature there for all my slide needs. That's what I'm using
Oh,
right now.
okay.
How's,
But
how's
have
Gemma?
you, I haven't actually used that one, but I've used Gamma. And Gamma
Uh,
was very good.
Hmm.
And the
mhm.
thing is, you just like give it a prompt or something, and it creates the
But
overall
doesn't
slides
it
for
require
you.
like a paid like subscription?
No, I think they have a free version. I'm using the free one,
Yeah.
and it's very easy
I've
to
seen
do that.
several students use Gamma already, kind of things becoming very
Yeah.
popular. But the concept of putting
Hmm.
PowerPoint slides together manually is gone. Okay. Let me tell you, when I graduated, I became a consultant. Okay. The McKinseys of the world, the big consulting companies who get 200, 300K a year, they were paid to create slides pretty much. Like to have the strategy and create the slides now, right? So now that is not a cutting edge, like, differentiation anymore with all of these tools.
Hmm.
But try
I
the
mean,
Gemini though. Gemini,
AIs have always, I mean, AI always has just created a higher, has improved the baseline every time.
Mhm.
So once the baseline is improved, that's where you start from, and then you differentiate yourself.
but I'm
That
just
I
is
think
what
it's
I've
gone
seen.
a
we are at
long way
that
though.
level.
We went from like ChatGPT. If you wanted to generate a slide, you'd have to copy paste like the title and that from like the text on ChatGPT's output to it being able to actually go into like Canva and everything and be able to actually like at least get a rudimentary design there. I mean, you can of course edit it and make it look all nicer after,
Yeah,
but like at least a rudimentary slide, it's actually been able to create. So that's nice.
yeah.
I mean, worst case, you have a baseline to start with, and you can
Yeah,
manually modify that to the finish line. That's what I figured.
yeah,
80%, it's all good. I wouldn't say still 100% it's good exactly the
yeah.
way
Yeah.
I want
I
it.
mean,
I
ChatGPT still
think,
has the Canva one in beta, so they're gonna improve it and make it better
but
at creating slides.
I think there is always going to be a spectrum, that I think that everyone, I mean, it's my belief, everyone, if they want to, create something which they actually want to use, I think 90% of the people actually, even a bit of changes, they will do a bit of changes at least,
They
because
were
no one is happy with just the output they get, because
exactly.
that is very generic, and
Exactly.
then they want the editing
It
capability.
all depends on the prompt, the way you express yourself, a lot of
Yeah,
things, but
but
it can translate into exactly
but
what you want.
that's the thing, like the non-deterministic nature of the prompts and overall these AI chatbot tools,
But
that's where I think the issue
I
is.
think the thing is that, like, for example, I think like another presentation that like just like for fun I was doing and I was trying to get it done, but like and then I tried using some of these AI tools and they were okay, not perfect. So what I ended up doing was like, okay, this is gonna take a longer time if I go through ChatGPT and try to do it on Canva through there. I created a separate Canva project on my own, got like the template from Canva, and then ChatGPT all it did was give me like the actual content for it, but I went back to the old way of like getting it from there and putting
Yeah,
it on the actual site rather than
yeah. I think
it doing because
that
it took a long
ability,
time. Yeah.
yeah, that ability to have make those small changes that you want, I think that is something is still very
And the
important.
ability to get it done quicker because I've
I
noticed
mean,
it takes a very
yeah,
long time if you want to do it like through that alone, just ChatGPT alone. Because the thing is that it doesn't create it like how you like it, then you're like, oh, can you change this to be like this? But like it
yeah,
might be
yeah.
quicker if you just do it yourself.
Future, won't they have like a marketplace in ChatGPT where some cool product comes in and takes the
Well,
content?
right now Canva has a like the official integration with like ChatGPT for that, and then I think they said beta on that one thing. Everything else says like, oh, it's
Mm,
like the full thing, but Canva alone says like beta next to it. So I think they're gonna fix it up and make
But
it
in
a
the
lot
future,
better.
I may have 4 or 5 of these options. I pick the one that I like and just generate the slides and move.
yes, yeah, yep, yep, that can be.
There could
But
also
I
be
mean,
some company like Gemma, yeah.
even with code, like when we see that it has generated a lot of code and everything. I have seen myself whenever I'm stuck very hard, I've seen myself opening the OG notebook and pen and actually thinking hard, drawing diagrams, what is happening, okay, how to solve this problem. And I have to say, nothing beats a pen and paper when I have to solve a real problem.
Hey, you are at 100% right, right? Nothing can beat a pen and a paper at the end because if you do that right, these are all tools to execute things and
Yeah,
get to the
Yeah,
finish line.
yeah,
yeah,
I'm glad you said
yeah.
that. You said it very nicely.
yeah.
Also, another thing that wasn't kind of related to this, but like I think Claude was trying to give everyone like a Christmas present that was early because to all Max users, I think they said like, oh, you could get 3 guest passes on Claude Code, and what that essentially is 3 referral links that you can send to people that will give them Claude Code Pro for free for I think 7 days,
Hmm.
and like the regular like the $20 a month, but like for free for like the 7 days, and you get 3 passes to like give to people. That's like essentially a referral link. But I thought that's a really nice way of marketing Cloud Code because
I
it's a
mean,
free trial, which means they still need to put like their credit card and everything in.
Okay.
But you're basically giving it free trials to people that'll get more people onto Cloud Code. So I
That
thought
is
it was
mostly
interesting.
for not enterprises, but for individual developers. Like if you
yeah,
Individual
guys,
developers and like hobbyists,
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
exactly. There's
exactly.
But
no
I
organization
mean,
is gonna be like, oh, do you want it? Yeah.
but I mean, I've seen that Claude has done another very important thing, right? It has donated MCP to the Linux Foundation.
Yeah, yeah, I
That's a
heard
good one.
about that
I
from the
like that. I like that.
Theo.gg video. And I think it's because one, they don't want to maintain like the upkeep of it. It's a lot, and they're not in the business of upkeeping MCP. Doing they want to build stuff for MCP. And if you donate to some open source, like mostly more companies will start to use it because it's not tied to like one
Yeah,
service.
and
And yeah,
I think this way they can if how they like created a foundation or something, and agents.md file was also donated to
yes,
that
I think
foundation, right?
underneath the Linux Foundation, there's a agent, like an AI agent specific like
Yep.
organization underneath the Linux Foundation that's responsible for keeping up
Correct.
with all of
Larry,
these,
the
and yeah.
agent.md file, I believe, is part of the agent to agent protocol effort. I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Under,
No,
but
I
that
don't think so.
I don't think it's underneath that. I think it's
Uh,
generally underneath the Linux Foundation.
It's
There's an
like,
AI part of
no,
that, and
I
it's
mean,
underneath that. Yeah,
I think that what you're saying is that it is like it can be accepted by all the AI agents in coding and coding and everything, but it's not like for talking to AI agents to AI agents.
oh,
It's
yeah,
not for that.
no, no,
oh,
It's for
no.
like
But
how cursor rules we have, rules
oh,
for cursor,
that one. I'm
that kind of
sorry.
thing.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah,
not
also
agent to agent communication.
yeah, and
Got
also just for
Mhm.
context, is Linux Foundation what they were basically doing is that all the companies have kind of agreed to like, okay, we'll all sort of upkeep like this one standard together so that we all have access to it. So that's what sort of
Yeah,
what that is, and that takes the effort off of Claude to be able to like, oh, we have to Anthropic to be able to like, we have to keep this up. This is very important, like to keep it up for all the companies. Kind of
yeah.
takes that off of them, and then more generically, everybody can use it. So
And I think actually collaborating and having a open like a proper open
like
standard that
an
helps a
open
lot.
standard,
Yeah,
yes, yeah,
yeah,
that's what they're bringing MCP to be. Yeah.
good. Okay, all right. So I guess next week we will talk about the year-end
Yeah,
wrap-up, man.
the
I know
year
very
in
well about
review,
that
and
yeah,
like
yeah,
and
yeah.
or maybe some like
one.
awards and something.
And also, I would love to hear from you guys about future prediction. Where would we end up in 2026 at the end of the year? Be prepared to talk about that too.
Yeah, and
Sure.
we'll get some
Yeah.
awards like the greatest AI models of the year. So that'll be interesting
Hey,
to see.
cool.
All right.
All right. See you
Yeah.
until
Yeah.
next
So
week, guys.
see you next time,
Bye.
guys. Bye. Bye.